What's going on, guys? Welcome to Inside the Horseshoe. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be talking about teams I believe Colts fans should root for during Week 13 of the NFL season. But before I do that, if you're new or if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate if you would click that subscribe button. Also, click the bell icon. That way you're notified whenever I upload a video or go live. If you like this video, smack the like button. Let me know down below your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know down below. And also, if you have a Twitter, click the link in the description down below. That will take you to my Twitter, horseshoe_pod. Make sure you follow me there if you have a Twitter. Now, before we get into who to root for, let's go through the AFC Playoff Standings as they stand right now. So at number 1 is the Baltimore Ravens. They end up moving up after Tennessee lost. At number 2 is the New England Patriots. Going into the season, I didn't think New England would be in this situation, but here we are. They're number 2 in the AFC. Number 3 is Tennessee. Number 4 is Kansas City. Number 5 is Cincinnati. Number 6 is Buffalo. And number 7 is the Chargers. Now moving on to the teams on the outside looking in. At number 8 is the Raiders. At number 9 is the Broncos. At number 10 is us, the Colts. At number 11 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And at number 12 is the Cleveland Browns. And we should also mention at number 13 is the Miami Dolphins. They're starting to gain momentum, and maybe they can start to be a problem when it comes to the playoff race. I don't think that's going to happen, but hey, you never know. Definitely interesting stuff right there. So with that being said, now let's get into the teams we need to root for. Let's start with the obvious ones first, because clearly we're going to root for these teams to win. First one is us. Got to keep winning. Very, very important. Colts fans are always going to root for the Colts. The only time I think Colts fans would not root for the Colts is if it was for the number 1 overall pick. And there was a generational quarterback that we need, like Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning. So, I mean, outside of that, we're going to be rooting for the Colts in any circumstance. So, obviously going to root for us. Very important to win all these games coming up, especially against AFC opponents, because conference record is a very big factor when it comes to tiebreakers. So, gotta win this game and other AFC matchups. The other team we're going to be rooting for this week is Washington. They're taking on the Raiders. You got to clearly root for Washington. They're an NFC team, so them winning literally does not affect us in the playoff standings unless they're playing an AFC team like they are this week with the Raiders. The Raiders are currently ahead of us right now. They are number 8, as I said earlier. So if they keep winning, they're going to keep on being ahead of us. So you got to root for the Raiders to lose this week, because if they lose, they fall behind us, which is a really good thing. So clearly root for the Raiders to lose. Now we're going to go on to AFC versus AFC matchups. The first one we're going to talk about today is the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Chargers. You root for the Bengals to beat the Chargers. Now, why am I saying that? Well, the Bengals are currently 5th, while the Chargers are 7th. The Bengals losing right now really doesn't affect us when it comes to the playoff race. Maybe down the road, but right now it doesn't really affect us. The Chargers absolutely would affect us, because if we can jump ahead of the Chargers and just keep winning the games we need to win, and then, they play some of the more difficult teams, which are coming up, that gap will continue to increase. So Chargers losing us would help us more in the wildcard race than I believe Cincinnati would. Now, if Cincinnati lost to Pittsburgh this past weekend, okay, you might be able to draw this one up as like a draw. But that really doesn't happen. Plus, we have a better conference record, I believe, than Cincinnati. And if the Chargers lose, we would have the better conference record than the Chargers. So the Chargers losing to Cincinnati would be the best case scenario for us. All right, next up on the list, we got the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Root for the Ravens to beat the Steelers. The reason why I say this is we need Baltimore to win their division. Them losing and not winning their division is not going to help us in the wild card race. If anything, it's going to hurt us, because teams like Pittsburgh or Cleveland or whoever, they're going to get some wins and they might gain momentum and they'll go in and maybe win the division. And then we can't really do anything about it because we can't jump ahead of division leaders. So you would want the Ravens to beat the Steelers, because right now we're ahead of the Steelers. So the Steelers losing and us winning will just increase that lead that we have against the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers are going to be a factor at some point. I don't think they're that good of a team. I think they got a lot of issues going on right now. I think they're going to eventually fade out, but still, you would want them to lose right now because you never know. Maybe they don't. Maybe they get this figured out and they get it fixed and they go on a run. Root for the Ravens to beat the Steelers. Next up on the list, we got Kansas City and Denver. Root for the Chiefs to beat the Broncos. Kansas City right now is winning their division, so them losing games really doesn't affect us unless they go on like a big losing streak and we go on a big winning streak. At that point, okay, it's going to affect us and we'll jump ahead of Kansas City. That's not going to happen. Kansas City is playing like Kansas City from a year or two ago. They're looking really, really good right now. Are they beatable? Yes, but they look really, really good. So them beating Denver, I believe, helps us more because Denver is also ahead of us right now. Denver is a team that I am so confused by because there's times where they look really good and they look like they could be a playoff team. And then there's times where they look terrible and awful. I don't know what to expect with this team. It's like Cincinnati. Cincinnati, to me, is very hit or miss, right? One week, they look great. They could win the AFC. They look awesome. The following week, they look terrible. They lose to the Bears. They just look terrible and awful. So I have no idea what to expect from this team like with Denver. So for me, Denver losing right now and losing future games just helps our chances more when it comes to wild card positioning. So Denver losing to Kansas City, I believe, is the better way to go for us. So root for Kansas City to beat Denver. And the last matchup we're going to be talking about today is the one that fascinates me the most. And outside of our game against the Texans, it is the one I am the most excited to watch because of playoff implications and division implications for these teams. And it is the Buffalo Bills and New England Patriots. It was pretty difficult for me to decide who to root for based on the playoff circumstances for both when it compares to us. But I have decided that we should root for Buffalo to beat the Patriots. For one, it's the Patriots. Why do we want to root for the Patriots to win? Okay, I was at the Colts game this past Sunday when they played Tampa Bay, and they showed the highlights and everything for each game just so we know, okay, what's going on right now in the NFL. And when they were like, oh, the Patriots are beating the Titans, everybody was like, yay! And I was like, no, don't cheer. You can be happy that the Titans are losing, but don't be happy that the Patriots are winning. So that played a factor into me choosing who to root for. But at the end of the day, the Patriots losing puts them ahead of us by, I believe, 1 game. But if they win, they're up 2 games. And if they lose this week and then they lose to us in week 14, we're tied. But we have the tiebreaker over New England. And with Buffalo, we have the tiebreaker over them. They're only up a game on us rather than being tied. Which, yeah, it would be nice to be tied with Buffalo. Either way, in some way, whoever loses helps us in the playoff race. But still, I honestly think when it comes to these teams, you got to root for Buffalo to win in this game. I believe it is better for us when it comes to the playoffs down the road. So there you guys have it. I'm going to run through it again. Once again, root for us, obviously. Root for Washington to beat the Raiders. Root for the Bengals to beat the Chargers. Root for the Ravens to beat the Steelers. Root for the Chiefs to beat Denver. And root for the Bills to beat the Patriots. That is going to do it for today. Thank you all for watching. If you're new, or if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate if you would click that subscribe button. Also click the bell icon, that way you're notified whenever I upload a video or go live. If you like this video, smack the like button. Let me know down below your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know why down below. I will be reading the comments, and I would be fascinated to know why you feel that way. Also, if you have a Twitter, make sure you follow me on Twitter at horseshoe_pod. There's a link in the description down below that will take you directly to my Twitter. So if you have one, make sure you follow me there. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Matt, Bleed Blue, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you watch one of these other 2 videos. They're cool. Also, if you're new, please click the subscribe button as well as the bell icon. I greatly appreciate your support.